Back, as I promised, I would hop onto this channel from the Produce channel, YouTube channel. So this is the Produce channel. Sorry, this is the Paintology channel. So as you know, there are two channels, YouTube channels that cater to Paintology. One is the Produce channel, which is my personal channel, but essentially the same right as of now, and for Paintology channel, which is the actual official channel of the for the app, but the Produce channel has equally similar number of drawings that I show you. And initially I started off doing advanced drawing on the Produce, but since I've introduced block coloring and many other essential ways of drawing, it caters to a lot of people, from both beginners all the way to advanced and even absolute beginners. So absolute beginners are the ones who are not able to draw at all. That's what I would consider them, but using block coloring, they could. So this is typically what I got up to, and this is through block coloring, and we have it in grayscale mode, as you can see here. So now we did the background, and now I said that I would complete the drawing doing these foreground, darker images here, the darker, stronger images compared to the background, even though the background does consist of tulips. If you look at it carefully, the background does have some resemblance of tulips. So let's do that. Let's put these resemblance of tulips with a smaller brush, about 9%, okay? And then let's see if we can pick these tones and create the strokes that we're looking. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. Ooh. So actually, I'm going to increase it 10%, and I'm going to show a nice little trick. All right. So we go here, and then I switch back and forth between. There, you can see here, there. So I'm going to pick the white tone and see if I can just, right there, can see it there, just giving the resemblance of the tones, see, there, just giving the resemblance of the shape that this is creating, right there, okay, and then just keep going around it. You can see there's a bank of tulips just here. And there's another lovely going there as well. Yeah. So I switch. So notice what I'm doing. I'm switching between. I'm clicking on the left icon, and then I can switch back and forth between the drawing, between the reference image and my drawing. See that? That's all it is. Let's put that in there. And then I got this color going on here. Then we have these colors going on here. Okay, and then we can see what we managed to create. There's another bank there. So we'll just go here. Then we go set this color. So this is really good in the sense that it shows you the reference image and also allows you to make your own drawing strokes based off of the reference image. Alright? Some darker colors going around here, the base of the tulip, I would say. Then we got these colors going on here, going up, and then this color, and then probably at the top, just at the top, we have this and then this, right? Just enough to create the illusion. And then we got this here, and then we got this here, and then we have a little darker patch here, so it's right down the middle. Not too worried about that. And then some tones here, and then again, then a little bit of that grey tone here. Let's see what that looks like. Now it's looking better. You can see now it looks like that there is a bank of tulips going all the way right to the background, yeah, and then you can see there are more essentially tones that are happening. So I can do the same thing, use part of the reference, and then create the illusion of just create the illusion that these flowers are going all over the place. Back, you know, this is our drawing. We can do, and then just basically picking different and giving the illusion that these are going all over, right? They're happening all over, right? We can control this drawing the way we can. It's a field that's going all the way across, right? And just use these sort of downward stroke going to the left. Pick a darker color and then use your grayscale right there. Right, pick a dark color and then just experiment. It's the beauty of experimenting. Give that illusion of tulips going all the way across. So now we're going to do the foreground. Look at the beautiful foreground. It's amazing. So these are really harsh, the harsh colors, meaning they're very dark and they're grouped together in this beautiful, lovely flower waiting to blossom, or probably already blossomed. And then we got this background of the image. It's not like anything, the reference image, but still it gives that illusion, right? And we can come back to it and improve it, okay? There's no such thing as perfection. Perfecting it is improving it. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to work on the foreground, and to do the foreground we need to have harsher, so we would go back to the line brush and we're going to create the foreground again using no skill at all, just block coloring. Okay, so you see this drawing we haven't done the foreground, and we're going to continue building up the foreground with this strong high density. We're not even going to use the density, stronger density setting, meaning higher opacity setting of the line brush, and then I'll show you how we can use this density setting to our advantage to get some measure of blending. Okay, so but right now I'm going to just use block coloring for the colors. Let's see if we can go here and keep it halfway, and then use that 10% to do the initial block coloring. See here? So I'm just laying down these strong colors here. I'm going to see how they change the colors. So I'm going to keep I'm just laying down these colors initially. Okay, there. And just go locally and then see where the tones are changing in that petal. See how the tone changes in petal, and I'm working my way bit by bit towards the stem here. And then I work my way up again using this brush. It's a pretty broad brush, but I'm not too bothered at this stage. I'm just showing you the power of block coloring. See, color picker, I'm not doing any kind of drawing as such. I'm just basically just laying down these colors that are close to those reference image. So I got it halfway. That's all I'm doing. That's all you have to do. Right? I'm not worried about the brush size yet. And then you will see that later on I'm going to improve this drawing with the another setting of that brush tool. So notice I'm not accessing tools at all. I'm just doing beautiful drawings the way it should be. Drawing the way, digital drawing the way it was meant to be done. Not through tools, but through your drawing. Essentially drawing. Just like you did in traditional. So that there. So every drawing is different. Don't even think that each one is the same, because I've drawn so many, and I can tell you right now, I have learned a lot. Even at my skill level, I have learned a huge body of knowledge. I've acquired a huge body of knowledge, techniques that I can sort of show you. Okay, we're going to spend the rest of the time we have here on this channel to finish this wonderful drawing of the tulips there. You can see what I'm doing. I know that the brush size may be big for some of the areas, but I'm not too bothered. Have you noticed that how many great artists, really, they start off with getting the right tones, right mixture, and they just continue to build it up and create detail after detail. It's exactly like traditional art. And people love watching that traditional art. There's no reason why you don't have to not just like it, but actually do it on your phone like I'm doing here. See what we've got here. Not this far so far, yeah? But we haven't stopped. We're going to carry on drawing. It's all about techniques. People are good at art because they have really nailed some of these techniques. The problem is very difficult for traditional artists to show them these techniques, but I can. No, I mean for traditional artists to show the techniques, because it's mixing of colors, a lot of nuances. But here you see with the color picker, you have overcome one of the most challenging parts of traditional drawing or painting, which is mixing the colors, getting the right tones. And this is done. Oops, I've gone into the, but we'll have to fade that out using the shade brush, okay? So it overcomes the most challenging areas of painting and drawing, which is the color picker here. So you know color picker exists in most apps, but they don't use it like in block coloring like the way I do. So keep that in mind, please. Yeah. So go away. Okay. Yeah. So let me move this somewhere here. Okay, so it doesn't get in the way. So you probably will get what I'm doing, and some of you will get it right away, but others will need to try it a few times before they really fully appreciate what I'm showing you. So don't be too quick to judge until you've tried it yourself. Just because you're familiar with one doesn't mean that something new can come along the way and change your way of thinking, is it? So you've got to be really prepared to be open to that possibility, and that's what really enhances your skills. Okay, there you are. See, I'm just color picker. That's all I'm doing. And what's actually helping me by doing this is helping you with the most essential topic of improving your drawing strokes, increasing your muscle memory of drawing, and really being intricate in your drawing and not just random fashion. It's actually showing you where you need to, and then at the same time it's improving your, expanding your knowledge of tones. And this is what makes drawing, separates a good drawing from a bad one, you know? Not a bad one, but an inexperienced one. Let's see what we have here, shall we? So we got most of it done, isn't it? Look at that, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's like it looks like a bunch of flowers, but it hasn't got any shape or form. And that's what we're going to keep on creating using the block coloring. And I feel like I should zoom in. But before I do that, let's fill some of the areas that we couldn't fill before. You know, these areas, can you see that? Like this area here. There. Yes, what we got here? That's pretty good. It's going to take on shape, so keep an eye out on this. So I'm going to save this because my developer tells me I must do that. And I'm going to open it because I'm working on a prototype. Go to my paintings, open it up, and this is the drawing you can see here. So this is the reference to this, my drawing. So what are we going to do to increase that, the volume and shape? Again, because I'm interested in you help acquire techniques, I have several approaches to this. And so how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to continue down the block coloring process, and now we're going to take this brush size to half. The rule of thumb is use the brush size and continuously decrease the brush when you come to do block coloring. Start with a broad color, lay down the first set of colors, then go down in size of brush, and this will continue. This is essentially the essence of traditional drawing and painting. They continue to, have you noticed, they broad brush, lay down the foundational colors, then they start tweaking details, adding the tree leaves or whatever, adding the colors, then they start adding more tones, more colors, then they continue to add smaller and smaller brush strokes to work out the smaller tiny details that make up the overall painting. Okay, so that's essentially what we're doing. And then again, we're going to go here, and now we're going to zoom in. This is something which the traditional artist does not have at their disposal, and we have this wonderful block coloring. Look at that, beautiful, isn't it? Now we've got tones at such a low level. Can you see these tones here? There, yeah? You can start putting those down. Why not, right? Because that will add details. That's what exactly the traditional artists will do. Look at that tones there. It's a light tone here. Okay? Look at these tones here. So I can see that my drawing and getting merged with the underlying tones, but still I'm able to see through this traced image of the underlying drawing, okay? Underlying reference image, and compensate for anything I did with the bigger brush. So I'm going to do it with this one, couple of tulips, and then we're going to look back. We're going to zoom out and see any improvements we've made. Remember, this is the line where we've said this is how far it's going to get for the actual tulips in the foreground. Okay, I tend to use quick, jagged strokes like this. Yeah. So I'm picking up. So any colors that, remember, even though our drawing is there, I'm picking up any colors from the underlying reference image and applying it to my brush, applying it to my canvas, and so it will assume that better, more details will assume better control of the tones that are happening at the smaller. Okay, so just excuse me for a while. Someone at the door. Hello, apologies for that. So you can see what I'm doing here is basically just selecting the color brush, the actual color picker, and trying to refine. So I'll be picking the closer tones related to this reference image, more of the closer tones, yeah? You can see here, which I couldn't do with the bigger brush, and we were zoomed out as well. So here, this is all it takes for you to understand block coloring. It's nothing difficult about it. I don't know why you should find it difficult. Very easy. Anyway, here it is. So let's have a look. You see now the tulips here, the two we did here, are now coming into shape. We're going to continue this with this. Can you see that we haven't really got the initial tones done? Can you see how it's changed? See? You can do two ways. You can either, which I like, is go here to the reference image completely to the far right, pick the colors and just, or you could still retain the reference image at the top half, which is what I'll do right now, and then just provide the details of the that was missed with a bigger brush, you know, and get the first set of details down. Okay, can you see it? That color. Can you see these tones that we may have missed? So the tones we're picking are the absolute true tones of that, the reference image. So now we're getting really close to the detail. See the tones here, tones there, and then we're just going to continue to work like this. Can you see this lovely tone here, and then this dark tone here? Okay, this is how we shape. So this is like tonal coloring, tonal painting. It's much more powerful than paint by numbers, which does the similar thing, but it's more under our control. Right, you can see here. There, get that. Then get this color there, and then get that dark tone there, and then get that. Okay, see this dark tone here. Get this. Then don't overstretch. Pick the color picker to match the gradient. And then as you do it, you'll get more used to what colors that you need to pick for the right, you know, which areas you need to address. So you can see this one. In a way, you're shaping it because you started with a bulbous brush, and now you're shaping it with the zoom feature. Now you can see you can correct all these areas with this smaller brush. Yeah, it's all within your control. did that just a while ago, didn't we? So we go across, and you'll see the big difference it makes to the overall, the drawing process that will come. It will come alive. The drawing will get better and better without the use of just using tools. So, and then also it looks natural because you're spending all your time drawing. You're not accessing tools. And if you want to draw anime, tools are a good way because you're trying to get perfect eyeballs, perfect set of mouths, which is fine. If you want to do that, then go ahead, do that, use the tools. But when it comes to natural fine art, you can't beat the traditional way of painting. Let's see how far we got. Let's see how far we got. Why not? See how they're now almost collectively coming together. But we're not there yet, and we're going to try and finish it and make it as good as the reference image, yeah? So now at the same time we're covering the areas that we did not touch with the bigger brush, right? Okay, so we're now, yes, look at that, it's beautiful. So remember, wherever your color picker lands is what the color is. So if I'm doing here, I'm going to get the white, isn't it? If I land here, put my fingers, my stylus there, I'm going to get that color, okay? That's all it is. Block coloring is so much fun. It's just a wonderful way of painting and drawing. And it doesn't really require any drawing experience, just the following the... This paint by numbers is a huge area of painting that people do, but many of those paint by numbers, you simply click on the number and you get the color when thinking. And people seem to enjoy that, but they're not drawing, are they? Just picking a color. This improves your drawing strokes. This launches you into what the love of drawing that most people enjoy, especially the artists who are able to draw well. And they do it because they've been patient enough to build up their skills. Okay, there. Look how quickly I'm rapidly going through this. No time at all. If I were to use tools for every stem, everything, oh gosh, I don't know how long I'll be spending selecting tools instead of drawing like this. So you may think that this is not going to teach you drawing. You could not be further from the truth. So my skills have multiplied in drawing, and I can tell you that if I were to do freehand drawing, I would be probably 25% faster than before because of the speed that I've developed, and also my drawing will probably have improved by another 25% more realistic. can do this. Remember, this is the line. Let's take that out. At least we'll know that we've hit the border, but we can keep improving on it now. We don't have to use that reference line anymore. So let's see where we are on that. Look at how it's coming together. Isn't that lovely, isn't it? Just amazing when you make drawings like this. Now let's go down here. We know we need to improve this area. So what can we do here? Well, we can zoom in here and then refine these with the smaller brush, yeah? It's just we can really run through this really quickly. Okay. There. Well, let's see what we've done. See, that part is also improved. Now you can see where we are on that, yeah? So now you could carry on using the block coloring, or I'm thinking of introducing you to the density settings that really will make this pop, right, of the line brush. So before we do that, let's go over it once again with a smaller brush than that. So that means keeping in line with you trying to acquire the skills. So you know that it's continuously improving. Yeah, you see we've had a bunch of what look like a collective set of flowers, tulips, and now we've got some shape, form and volume. And now we're going to take this down at the brush size, half, rule of thumb, half, okay? Take it down to half and you can see for yourself how you can improve. Can you see these tones now appearing? So much detail. Wow. You could do that, right? Now you've really gone down to the tiny details of the tones that are happening at yeah, so this is a little different to how I would do it before, but again, the whole idea is to experiment, you know? You don't experiment, you just ain't gonna know, right? Right there. Just refining anything that we put down in the first place and just using a scribbly. I take advantage of my quick scribbly tones because that's what in essence it is when you see great artists at work, that when you get close to their canvas, well, a bunch of scribbles, isn't it? Just perfecting it. Just seeing the shapes where you see a misaligned compared to your drawing. And you could do this by going here and then going here, going here, going here, going here, and seeing the reference image. And if you wanted to, you could go the other way and correct it. So I'm going to show you this method, and then I'm going to show you another method. So halfway still, which allows us to see the reference image while we draw, which is fine. We can pick out these tiny details in the tonal variations in the drawing, which is, and then I'm going to show you another method. You see the tones here? We're getting really down to the nitty-gritty of tones, like especially in areas where there are a little more complexity in the tones. You can start refining that. Okay. See these tones here we missed out. Let's grab them, right? Just keep doing this. Just carry on doing this. And then the more, because you've got such a smaller brush, you've got more tight control over of tones at a very small, high resolution. And this is where the eye tends to try and, the eye does all the work of realism, creating a sense of realism. That's all it's doing. So you'll see the big difference it can make with this smaller brush, even though we haven't touched the most important tool of all, the density setting, which I'm quite keen to get bringing it into play here. Okay, let's see. See how this detail of the tulip is coming into play now. So much different to what we started off with. That's essentially what it is. It's all about, let's do this huge tulip and bring that into life, yeah? Look at these wonderful tones here. There. No drawing experience required. Right there. Just go over this bit by bit, clearing any edges or residues that you see. This white bit, you see? You can see here that there's a little, keep it tight, because the smaller brush means smaller tonal area that you can use to get the detail. See this area there? It's quite round and it's more white than color picker. Actually, a lot darker than it should be. A lot lighter, I should say. This is light drawing, combination of drawing and painting. That's all it is. See that? That's the light area there. So I hope you're beginning to understand what tonal drawing is. Right there. Picking out tones always. So these tones here, they're not as dark as they were because I used a broader brush. Now I'm using very light brush. See this dark area here? You can do that and then get the lighter tone here underneath. And we can see what this looks like. See, we built up that flower. It was like pretty, like silted, dead, but we managed to pick out details. But we're nowhere near this beautiful thing. That's what we're trying to get at. And I'm going to keep working on it until, because no painting defeats me, you know? And it shouldn't defeat you as well. There's always a way to get it. It actually looks simple drawing, but in reality, it's a very complex piece of art drawing. And some of you probably know that because you've had traditional drawing experience. This is really a lot more challenging than what meets the eye. So going over it very quickly, putting down those tiny details with the 100% brush. It's almost like coloring in ink, but we're picking the tones at low resolution. Yeah? Okay, can you see the details there? The white here, color picker. Maybe that's the background, I'm not sure. Alright, so we're going to try and do this. I just realized there's another quality that comes through drawing, and that's one of the most important traits of a human being is the patience and persistence. Builds those qualities. Look at this color. It's not actually this color, but depending where you land, you're gonna color picker, color picker. So look at this. We're gonna refine this beautiful color that we didn't capture before. It's a smaller brush. Allows us to do that, right? Let's see what this looks like, shall we? More details, more everything, isn't it? Just amazing, isn't it? This one is like this tulip here. You can see here. This tulip, I can see here. I'm going to try and get these colors at the mid-level and then add more details. Can you see it? Pick these colors so it doesn't look like a flat white. Let's see if we manage to. Yes, I've captured a bit of detail. And now you can see here, there, can you see it? There's a little bit more detail we can add here. So with this smaller brush, go down. Get this, the color there. And then I can see here, needs a little bit of a color here. Can you see it? And then the darker here. And then this tone goes up here. So look at that, how we're shaping it. In a way, we're shaping this drawing. Let's see what we've done here. So again, you can see there's a flat look here, right? That's really hard to replicate these. It looks flat, but it's a really good description of how it's blending. And we need to somehow capture that. See that? See that? So, and the same thing on this side. Looks flat. You can see it in the actual image. So let's try and grab these very subtle tones. It's always a learning process. Don't think for a second that you've mastered everything. You have not. Now just pick the tones that are being picked up by, and then just keep it tight and local. Right, just so it's just within that area. You learn something all the time. So let's see what we got. See, we got some texture and shape on that. We're going to carry on doing this here. Texture and shape. That's what adds to the whole realism of this drawing, okay? Keep it tight. Don't venture too far out. Keep it really tight and controlled. And pick the color picker more frequently. It looks easy, but honestly, this is a very complex piece of art. Maybe some of you have joined because you know that very difficult one to pull off. But if there's anyone that can do it, Paintology and with my techniques can. Right? So you don't need drawing experience, just the will. Okay, let's see what we got here. We've got a bit of shapes going on there. We missed this bit. The white here. Pick another tone. Look at that. We've got a thing there. Look at that. Look how it's actually come a lot more. I'm going to save this and open it again. Okay, look at this. So I can see areas that we can do. Look at this. Can you see? This should actually tell you what are the next steps of the drawing. It should give you an idea, an indication what the next steps are. See here? You can see the drawing. Just flick back and forth between yours and then decide the areas that you need to tackle more, okay? You can see here. Right? Where do you think it needs more tackle? I can see the areas of the shading. Wonderful gradient of shades happy on the petals themselves. And that's what we're going to use our density settings to come into it. But before that, I need to do some more this beautiful rounded strokes that are still part that I haven't quite captured. Okay, I'm just going to go over it again. It's wonderful petals that have that beautiful gradient, which we'll capture. And I'm going to show you. If you've been following me, you'll know that I have some tools right up my sleeves that's going to do that. I'm not talking about. Well, I may be talking about the same approach I used in the background to do the background, but you just have to watch, isn't it? I'm just laying down these tones that I might have missed it. Right. Look at these shapes, you know? As you go over it, keep it tight. Okay, always keep it tight. Keep it tight. Look at these shapes there. Look at that there. That's the end of the tulip. That's what's going to give it shape, form. The very thing that you learn in art fundamentals. Okay, here. Then here. Then we may have a little bit of color picker. These color pickers. Just picking out the tones that are local here. You can see it varies. So keep it very tight and local. Right, giving another level of gradient. Another level of gradient to this. See how it gets dark there? That's what real pictures are like, and that's what we're trying to capture. This is a lot more challenging than I'd expected, but still great training. Look at these subtle tones going on here. Right. So in a way we're breaking down. This is the stem, so be careful of the stem. The stem has a clear line delineating from the background, yeah? Just go over it again like this to the edges where you're done, and then you'll find it's got different tones that are appearing as you go over it. And while you're doing this, you're shaping it to the actual flower, okay? Look at this area. It's quite light, so we're gonna try and make this light. Don't go all the way down because there'll be a different tone like here. You see that? And then there is that bit. Is that part of the flower? Maybe it is. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Look how it's shaping up. We've got found a lot better than before. And I can see this white one is really, it's really quite a tricky one. And you can see here, pick the colors and just work your way up. Right there. And let's see if we've managed to capture some of these tones. Remember, we've still got a very 100% density, but I'm reluctant to introduce it very early. I could have done it earlier on, but I haven't. Look, added texture to that. And you can see there on this left side, this weirdness going on here. So that could be the background, but we can diffuse it, okay? Take out that weirdness effect using the color picker and see what it is in the reference image. Just sort of apply the colors that you see. It's not like a blob like we had it, so just trying to capture what was actually in the reference image, and we can correct it. Or it could be something else which we don't know. And then if we do find out, I have a feeling it's the background, which is fine. You know, that's not going to throw any clangor in the woodworks yet. Let's have a look. It is the background, okay? So I'm not too bothered about that. I'm going to shape that. So to shape that, to diffuse that in the background, very easy. We go back, pick like 4 or 5%, go back to the little shade brush, okay, and then just diffuse it. And it will be diffused in the background. It's probably the base. It's probably the base of the, because we're now looking at the lower ground, right? This fire. So let's see what it looks like. Oops, we had it in the mid setting. I think that's fine. I think that's okay. It doesn't look like a blob of something. Now, since we have the shade brush, I'm going to try a few things. I'm going to try and bring that beauty shade of that. Let's focus on this tulip here. Okay, let's focus on that. Now we can go to the shade brush. So I was telling you earlier that I was going to contemplate a couple of things. One is to use the shade brush or introduce the density settings. So I'll keep this set while we're still got it, and then pick this color here. See if we can diffuse out. It's wonderful. So play with this setting and then make this gradient, you know? Look at that dark setting. Let's get the dark and work our way to the top. Let's pick that dark. Look at that. We've managed to do it, haven't we? Look at that. So let's try a few of them here. Let's try this. Diffuse that. Use the same thing we did the background. We'll get the shape and then pick the colors. So we got the shape, so it's not going to look like the background. It's going to look like the form and volume of the tulip, isn't it? Right there. So we got a thick brush, 8.7. So I'm just going to look through that and then do it for all of that. Color picker, this darker color, and blend it in. So I may adjust it as I go along and do that. So I'm just doing that. Look at that, how we've diffused, made that beautiful tonal color. Even this tulip, we're going to shade it and get the other darker tone on there. And then bring the white one as well. Just diffuse it there. Do the same for all of them. Right, while we've still got the big brush. And then bring the black. And then I'm going through all of them very quickly. And then bring the lighter color into it. This is not bad, 6.9% brush size. Seems to be doing okay with it. I'm not too worried about how it's performing. Just see how we quickly create this dynamic gradient of shade. And the same thing here. We've got shading that we need to do here. And then try and capture all the petals that we have here. This one, it looks rough. We don't want this tulip to have, looks like it had a tough life growing, do we? Let's smooth that off during its growth, right? There. And then pick that light down, carry it to there, shape it like that. Just play with it, because I'm not going to tell you every nuances of how this works. Just know that it just works. and take advantage of that. What have we got here? I've got the tulips still. Pick that tone there. And pick this, take it up. There, look at that. And then what have we got here? We've got the same thing. There. There. Look at that there. See how it's now coming alive? We can now take it down more, 3.4, because we're now doing details of these leaves, stems, and we could do the same thing. You can see what we have here. Pick a dark color. Yeah, illusion. That's all it is. It works very well actually. And then look at your reference image and then try and capture the same thing. Get these sort of choppy marks out and smoothen it. I keep looking at what colors. This will define the shape. Right? Making it look real. Look at that lovely luscious white around this tulip here. Look at that. Yes, we can do that. Capture that shape. And the same thing here. Can take it down. So we're learning by trying. And look at that. We know these lovely. Give that shape, right? And then what we got here? Look at that. A lovely tone here. Isn't that lovely? Oh, that tulip is not bulbous, but we could make it bulbous. Why not? It's under our control, isn't it? There. See how the shape is coming out? We're trying to get rid of these sort of ugly marks. Not ugly, but sort of diffuse the beauty. This is a really complex, but we can pull it off, right? Right, have a look at this one. That hasn't even blossomed, this one. Well, it has actually. It's blossomed. So let's pick this one. You see, this is like, looks a little jagged. So we use the shade brush. This is actually a very interesting drawing because I don't think I've ever come across where I use the line. And then I think I have for portrait. Right, and then don't just use one color. Try and pick up the dark colors. It's representative. And just pull that along. Beautiful. And then I got this one diffused. There. And what do we got on the white side? There, can you see it? On this one. I'm gonna just right there. So here as well. You got that right? Yeah, why not? Do we have a white? Yeah, we have a sort of a white banding going on here. I'll just clean up that tulip there. And then what do we have here on the left side? See this tulip? Look at that beautiful tone. This one I'm talking about. This one. This tulip. Okay, that particular tulip. So I'm going to address that. Try and capture some of this beautiful tones going on here. Okay. I got a lovely tone there and a lovely white tone, a lighter tone going all the way across. And then that's a really shaped, a black tone that's actually creates the shape of that. Look at that, beautiful. Right there. And then it's got a lovely, beautiful grey tone coming down the side there. Why not capture everything? Right, capture everything. Okay, so we're getting there close, right? We're not quite there yet, but let's just carry on. Let me see what this is showing. So I'm going to some white tones here. We can do lots of things. Just to refine this tulip shape here. Remember, the whole idea is to make this drawing in one sitting. Trying to replicate as much I think we made a good decision with this brush. See that one there? That's not quite realistic, so I'm gonna add a bit more of that. So we can go through all the lower plantations. Let's see that here. Just here, okay. Side of the stem, giving it depth. You can see. Giving it like real illusion of depth. Same here. Pick that. Maybe use the color tones there. Giving the illusion of depth. Okay, so you can see now in the drawing process, I'm going to probably diffuse out that black. It looks a little ugly. And so it's not totally under our control, isn't it? That's the beauty of drawing. I'm going to go through it quickly now, since we're coming near closer to our time. This is the wonderful stem, isn't it? So we can decide that, give it a little bit more left substance right there, solidity. So this shade brush is doing really well. It's giving some more life to it. I'm using my combination. I'd use this. Seems to be working what I'm doing. That's why continuing doing the same thing. I had a different idea of using the density settings, But then I realized density setting of the line brush, which I believe. Then I realized the shade brush is doing so well, so why not just stick to it? See these areas? Right, maybe put a bit of a darker color to this to bring that to shape here. And you can see that it doesn't make sense. Now I'm primarily using the gray tone, yeah? So this is when my drawing experience comes into play. Because I know it's going to be dark there, so... And then I can pick the color picker. This is part of the... So I'm going to say that's the background, so I'm going to form this as the shape. Okay, I'll leave it like that. And then, let's have a look. Excuse me for 1 second. Hello there, I'm back again, and sorry about that. Just to finish off this wonderful tulip drawing. So now that you can see what the drawing process, hopefully you have an idea of the drawing process, okay? So what I'm doing right now is shaping with a 2.62 brush those harsh lines that was left behind, you know, and then making it look more realistic, yeah? That's all I'm doing. And then here you can see you can use the gray tone here, right? And then I can refine this part here. So you take away what seems like a little jagged to something that looks more realistic. Whole idea of this drawing is to make it look as realistic as possible. You can see that area here, right? We can change the color a little bit towards the edge. See how that diffused that? And this, so we've got the shade brush, which is really doing a good job of diffusing or blending. Right, so just, what is this part here? So like a little bud here actually. So it's a new bud that's trying to reach out to the skies. Right, this little lovely bud, small one. Okay, and then this one we can say, well, you're somewhere down there, but let me take the color picker. This is all the way going down. Giving it depth, okay? If you can't get the colors you want, use this grayscale, okay? So if you've got the color here, straighten that out. It's not jagged. And straighten this one out. Okay. That's all it is. Okay, see how it's coming together, and then anywhere you see improvements, just add it there. If you don't like it, you can go over it again. It's a great beauty of digital. Right, you can now, we've almost done, right? You can see that this area here at the bottom right needs to be cleaned up a bit, doesn't it? Right, just cleans up a little bit more. Get this black color, diffuse it out a bit. Okay. Take a bit of a darker tone for this stem. Just work it like that. Okay. And then we have this black tone, which I don't know what's going on here, but we can correct this little stem that's going across here. Use the grayscale to get the colors you want. Yes, that's it. It's coming up. There. Right. I think that's looking very good now, isn't it? It's not quite there yet, and I believe I can do a bit more. But let me clean it up a bit more. Let's see what we have here. And I'm switching direction. Here, just put a bit of diffused mark here. Just give the illusion of depth, right? So this gives the illusion of depth. Right, this is almost looking very good. And here you can see it looks a little tad unrealistic. So I'm going to try and shape that if I can. Right, there. Just go over it. There. Just give that a bit of a there. Get these, and then what do we got here? We've got another tulip, isn't it? It's trying, this little baby's tulip. It's trying to grow out, isn't it? Trying to find the light. So let's give it some stem. Right. I've got something good going on, but I don't think this is totally realistic here, so I'm gonna fade that out a bit. Okay. And then, what have we got here? On this dark side, this side, we've got black here, but it seems to be too of a harsh an edge. So let's soften that. Okay. And then pick the adjacent color to soften it even more. Okay. So now we might end up doing a bit more on the tulip, but I'm going to increase the brush. I want to get rid of this dark area. It's a bit distracting. So I'm going to use the grayscale and just get rid of it. I've got a bigger brush. 7, and I'm going to try and just diffuse it if I can initially. Giving the illusion that there is, it's in the background, but it doesn't play a right there. I think it's a bit better. And then this is also in the background here. So let's try and diffuse that. Make this whole thing look like is in the background, and these tulips that you're seeing are actually in the foreground, yeah? So, right there. Okay. And now let's see what we can do here. Don't like this area here so much. I'm gonna try and capture some of these colors. Push it back to give this tulip a bit more shape. I've still got the higher, bigger brush, 7%. Not too worried about that. I can keep adding gradients to this, giving it, sort of shape to it, right? Why not? Right, and then take some of these, see that one here? Right there. Let's give it a bit more. I think that's looking good. And then if we want, we'll shape the top 3.5%. I'm going to shape the top part. I'm going to actually just do something quickly. Just bring some more life into these prominent tulips. And then we could use the opposite color to highlight this. Give it more substance. And on the top of this one we can say as well, we can create it like this tulip here, this one, and then give it life, give it shape. Let's say this one, right? Why not? We can do anything we want. There. Right? And then on this top here, we got this lovely greater, the tulips there, actually part of the petals. And then just work it. And just work those beautiful petals. Just work your magic. And then give it shape. Right. Right there. Let's give it a bit of a shape. And then let's look at this tulip. That one. Right there. And then we've got here, we've got a darker tone. Something going on here. Just give it a bit more body. Okay. Then we've got even darker tone here to give it a bit more life to it. So we've got just a little bit more shape. And what about this white tulip that's really trying to come up from the left? Well, I think we've got a good thing going on here. some shape in this tulip. Okay, and then you can see here that we need to diffuse this background here. Right there. Then maybe there's another white tulip coming on the okay. I think that's coming very well, and then maybe we could refine this tulip and take it a little bit, like eventually it's going to become the king of the tulips that are now at the top, shining through, right? Who knows? And then you just keep going, add more dimension. That's it. So that's coming together. Yeah. So you can see how these tiny marks can make a difference. Okay, today was Tulips Day, right? Wasn't it? And then let's put some of these buds. You know, the buds that are growing up in this tulips are giving it a bit more life. And how about this one? There's someone already trying to get to the top, fighting its way to the top. I could diffuse it. Right. And then here we have something that's happening here. So let's take this brush size down and see what's happening here. Okay. Add these contrasting colors, not giving it depth. You know, these dark colors. Okay. All right. I think we've done a bit, isn't it? Maybe we could use to shape these tulips that are lying on the top here, giving a bit more oomph. We might have thought this was not possible, but we managed to pull it through, didn't we? Let's add some character to this. Maybe Yeah, so like a round stroke there. So and what about this here? Okay. There's so much of that we can control, isn't it? Anyway, so I think we've gone long enough. And I would say this is finished. So I'm gonna sign here. And Paintology. Oops, gotta take it out. Paintology. And then that's it. So please subscribe, and I'll post another drawing for tomorrow, hopefully. And if you have any ideas for subjects, do let me know. Any interesting subject, and also just to give you a reminder that I am looking for artists, and we want to put on our team to help us shape Paintology into the future, which is growing rapidly. Almost 150,000 subscribers, thanks to you. And hopefully I'll see you soon again for another drawing session. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much, and see you soon.